so much for seeing me today.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad you're here. So what kind of feels most important for us to talk about today?
So I believe I had shared this before with you, but in previous sessions we had talked about how my boyfriend Jeffrey and I had been talking about moving in together. And I think it's time to like really sit down with him and really talk about it, but I'm hesitating for sure.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that hesitation that you're feeling.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I should feel exciting, but instead I just feel very anxious.
Yeah, you're feeling anxious instead of excited. Okay.
Yeah, like something is just like holding me back.
Okay. Can you describe kind of what holding back might feel like in your body and in your mind?
I just feel like tight, like in a when you get like a knot in your stomach, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. That sounds super uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
kind of almost like your body might be alerting you that something is happening or something's changing.
Yeah, like a warning sign.
Yeah. The warning is really important to notice, especially when you're feeling it internally.
Yeah, I don't know what it is exactly though.
We can explore it together. So when you picture moving in, what kind of comes up first for you?
Honestly, I feel like I'm just nervous about losing my independence.
Okay, so part of your hesitation is about independence, maybe even a worry that you might lose some of that if you move in.
Yeah, like I've lived alone for a very long time, and I really like my space.
Yeah, me too. It sounds like living alone has been meaningful for you and maybe been connected to feelings of like being grounded or safe or that
Oh my
kind of
gosh,
thing.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And Jeffrey is great, but he is very messy, and I am really not.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. It feels very manageable right now because it's my space. So it's like he's not there all the time, and I'm not at his space all the time. So it's like I can still keep things how I like them in my house, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you start to notice some of that mess or anything like when you guys will hang out in a shared space? Like, does it bother you in those?
Yeah, it feels like maybe mostly when he's at my house, when he comes over and like stays for like, if it's just a day, it's fine. But if he stays for like longer periods of time, it feels like I start noticing little things, or like he didn't put like the forks, or like and like where I will usually put them, those little things like that. But that in the long term kind of like add up. Maybe I'm just like very particular about how like I like things.
That makes a lot of sense. Is this something that you've kind of like brought up to him previously, or like addressed that it kind of gets on your nerves a little bit, or anything
I guess,
like that?
yes, maybe in like a playful way
Yeah,
kind of thing,
yeah.
but it's like, I feel like a part of me is okay with it because then he's gonna leave and like things are gonna be back to normal, which I feel like maybe that connects to me feeling this way about moving in together, that's gonna be long term and I cannot just like have my own space back in a few days.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that's very fair, and I think that's a really big step in a relationship is having a shared space together and like figuring out how that's gonna work. So I don't know, I think it would be good to bring it up to him, especially if you're thinking about making this next step.
Yeah. I guess it could be something that when we have this talk that we're supposed to have, maybe that's something that we can talk about.
Yeah.
And that is like set some like rules that will like, maybe I'm too organized, but it's like maybe at the beginning and then it will just like flow. But at the beginning I think it will be important for us to like have set, not schedules, but like in a way it's like who's gonna take care of what, or because also I don't want to force, maybe that's where my hesitation comes from. I don't want to force him to be the way that I am.
Okay.
I don't want to impose that.
Yeah.
So maybe we can set some rules, but also like compromise.
Yeah.
With the way that he is, I guess.
I think making a schedule sounds like a really good idea, or something like that, because that could let him do the things he's comfortable doing and you do the things you're comfortable doing with like regards to cleaning and everything.
Yeah, I guess we both will have to like compromise things if we decide to move together.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
yeah. those are a lot of really practical concerns, just like differences in habits and how you guys might live together, kind of thing.
It is actually very helpful to talk about it,
That's
honestly.
good.
Yeah,
That's
to
good.
like
That's good.
start putting into words how I've been feeling.
Mhm.
It's always super helpful.
That's super good.
But it just, I don't know, it just feels deeper than the mess, you
Okay.
know?
So when you say deeper, what does that like mean to you or look like?
I feel like I worry that it's like if, for example, we are like in a fight, I'm not gonna have a place to go to.
Okay. That sounds like a very like real fear, and that living together might limit your ability to kind of like cool off and step away from any fight that you would have had like previously. Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been in other relationships before where like conflict got very overwhelming.
Okay. So would you say that it's fair to say that your past experiences might be like kind of influencing this decision now?
Yeah, that's how it feels.
Okay. I appreciate you naming that because it shows like a lot of insight. So that's good.
So like my question would be like, what do I do with all this feeling?
Okay, so I think we should slow down and kind of like break it down together. So maybe we could talk through the ABC 1, 2, 3, 4 assessment to kind of understand what's happening.
Sure.
Okay, so before we start, I kind of want to briefly explain what the assessment is. So the ABC portion of it helps us look at 3 different things: the activating event, your beliefs around that, and then kind of the consequences that might follow.
Okay.
So this kind of gives us like a good picture of what might trigger your reactions and why they might feel the way that they do. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4 portion kind of focuses on your internal resources and options that you have. So that's your strengths, your supports, your current stressors, and possible solutions to those.
Okay.
So it's just like a really easy, structured way for us to explore the situation from a lot of different angles so we can kind of understand it more fully and make a plan that feels good for you.
Okay, yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So let's start with the activating event then.
Okay.
So what moment do you kind of like pinpoint this as?
I feel like it was when Jeffrey asked me again last week if we could talk about moving in.
Okay, so the activating event was Jeffrey bringing up the conversation again.
Yes.
And then B is your beliefs. So what thoughts kind of came up for you immediately after he asked?
Okay. I feel like as thoughts, the first one was like, I'm not ready. And after that, I was thinking, what if this like ruins the whole thing?
Okay, so you're noticing feelings like not being ready, and then kind of fearing that the relationship might be harmed by taking a further step?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes, yeah.
So for C, we have consequences. So what emotions or behaviors kind of followed those beliefs that you had?
I feel anxious and kind of like, I kind of like shut down the conversation when it started, yeah.
So kind of maybe feelings of like withdrawal and anxiety showed up?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next portion is going through the 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1 is strengths. So what strengths do you think you bring into this situation?
I feel like I communicate pretty well, and Jeffrey and I can talk things out when we try.
Okay, so strong communication and a history of productive conversations. Those are like super big strengths. That's good to note. The second section is supports. So what or who do you have in place to support you in making these kinds of decisions?
My sister, for sure. And honestly, Jeffrey too.
Okay, that's good. It's meaningful that you can kind of see Jeffrey himself as a support even during this time of uncertainty with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, for 3, we've got stressors. So what external pressures are you facing around this decision?
Honestly, my friends keep asking, when are we gonna move in? And I kind of feel judged for hesitating.
Okay, so there's like kind of a social pressure and also feeling judged for maybe being nervous about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then the 4 section is solutions. So like what kind of options do you see, even if they're like small steps you could take?
Well, I feel like maybe I could just like talk to him about what I'm nervous about.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good possible solution and kind of just invites like open communication.
I guess.
So before we explore more, can I gently share something I'm noticing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hear you saying that Jeffrey and you communicate pretty well together and that he's very supportive of you, but I also kind of hear that you're afraid to tell him your fears, and there seems to be like a little bit of a disconnect here.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I've been avoiding this conversation for sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Honesty is really important, and you're recognizing your avoidance as part of the challenge, so that's good.
So what would I do with all of this?
I think we should just boil it down to the core issue, which is like what feels like the heart of the problem
Okay.
for you.
I feel like the main thing is that I'm afraid that we're gonna lose this relationship.
Okay, so you want to both deepen your relationship with Jeffrey, but also
Mhm.
maintain your independence
Yes.
after moving in.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that kind of gives us like a good path for setting some goals. Would you
Mhm.
be open to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. I think a constructive goal to implement would be to kind of just communicate some of these fears that you voiced to Jeffrey so that he can kind of like understand where you're coming from. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Another goal could be like exploring different ways that you could maintain your independence if you guys do decide to take this step together, like setting boundaries or routines. That could kind of just create some good
Yeah.
separation.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay, so cool. For a treatment plan, I'm proposing that in our next session, we can work on communication strategies, explore your needs surrounding independence, and then kind of just practice ways to manage your anxiety like during the transition.
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool. We've summarized so far that you're feeling anxious about moving in due to your past relationships and experiences. You kind of want to maintain your independence, and then there's also some social pressure surrounding it. You identified your strengths, supports, stressors, and solutions. So I think our goals are just preserving independence and open communication.
That feels right. Yeah. Thank you for putting it together.
Yes, of
more,
course.
yeah.
I appreciate your openness to talk about it.
Thank you. I guess I keep thinking about what might happen if we move in and like start arguing a lot.
Yeah, it's really natural to consider worst case scenarios. Could you describe like what that argument might feel like for you?
I feel like might feel like trapped and panicky, like trying to like leave, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds scary. Where do you like notice that feeling and panic kind of in your body?
In my body? That's a good question. I feel like my chest like tightens and I feel very dizzy.
Okay, that physical response makes a lot of sense with the anxiety you've described. So we can just notice it and address it later.
Okay. And also I worry about losing my routines.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Like preserving your routine makes a lot of sense if you want to maintain your independence and sense of self.
Yeah.
Do you want to brainstorm some ways that we could maintain routines even if you did move in with Jeffrey?
Yeah, that will actually be super helpful.
Okay.
Maybe set like specific times for me to be alone with myself.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a great solution just to kind of preserve your independence.
My thing is like I don't know how he would react.
Yeah, that's understandable. It's kind of a uncertain thing. So how might you kind of like approach this boundary setting conversation with him?
Maybe I could frame it as something that helps me feel grounded, not like a critique to him.
Yeah, I think that's a really constructive approach because it emphasizes your personal needs without kind of like making him feel,
That might work, yeah.
We can role play that conversation if you
Okay.
want so we can practice it.
Okay, I would like that.
Okay, cool. So let's first imagine the conversation step by step. So like what's the first thing that you would say?
Okay, I guess I will say like, I want to share something important about how I feel living together.
Okay, that's good. That's just like a clear, non-confrontational opening.
And then maybe I can just like start like explaining my needs for personal space.
Yeah, I think that's a really respectful way to communicate your
Okay.
boundaries. Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm afraid like, could he take it the wrong way? I don't know.
That's pretty common to fear that he'll misinterpret it. So how do you think you could go about like clarifying your intention in the conversation?
I feel like I could like emphasize that this is about maintaining myself and like protecting my like personal space and stuff, and it has nothing to like do with him. Like I'm not trying to reject him.
That's a good clarification. I think that would be helpful for him to hear too.
And that seems like manageable, I think, for me to do.
Good. How do you think you would feel after saying that?
Absolutely nervous, probably, but also relieved because I've been like thinking about it for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a very normal mix of feelings to have, and I think it's good to acknowledge both because they're both important feelings.
Yeah. I feel like another thing that like I'm thinking about right now that we're doing this is I wonder what happens if he disagrees with my boundaries.
Okay, in that case, I think it would be good to consider kind of possible strategies and responses
Okay.
for you.
I might have to like negotiate maybe, like compromise on some shared spaces.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's realistic problem solving. So
Okay.
yeah.
I could also just like schedule alone time for me daily.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that would be good in giving you like you and him an expectation, and you're both, you know, aware that that's gonna happen. So
That could just like reduce my anxiety.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah. Implementing that kind of routine would really help with managing it, because then he doesn't feel like, oh, did I do something wrong?
And it's like, no, that was my scheduled time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I feel slightly more confident thinking about this next steps. It was very helpful.
That's a good shift from where you were at. Just notice that kind of confidence change. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I guess journaling could help track this.
Yeah, that would be great in supporting like kind of just reflection and like awareness of yourself and what you need and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll start like trying to journal tonight.
I think that's a great commitment to have.
I feel like this session was super helpful for me to like entangle all my thoughts. I'm very grateful.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear that. So I think we should just maybe notice like what insights feel most valuable for you right now before we depart.
I guess understanding my need for independence stands out.
Great. I think with the homework we've done and all of that, that will be like a good thing to get addressed. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.